Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Outdoors with the Squatch. First things first, you're probably wondering why Squatch. Well, it was a nickname. Friends gave it to me. When I was contemplating starting this YouTube channel, I was kind of bouncing some names around. Buddy of mine says, well, you're a Squatch, Corey. So I'm like, well, it's going to be outdoors. So Outdoors with the Squatch it is. It was born. There it is. So get that out of the way. What is Outdoors with the Squatch? Well, Outdoors with the Squatch is basically me cataloging a land clearing and building project that I've got going on. One that's basically 30 years in the making. We'll go into detail of that throughout the videos here and whatnot, but it's a dream that's finally coming true after a long wait. A lot of variables and factors went into why it took so long, but the time's here. We're going to enjoy it. We're doing it. It's just proof positive that in life that if you don't give up on goals and dreams, eventually they do come true. So what you see going on behind me here is what you're going to see on this channel, a bit of it anyway. It's land clearing. I've got 9 acres of heavily wooded property that we're building that home on. So I've got a utility tractor, a cab utility tractor. I've got a box blade, a piranha tooth bar on my loader bucket. I've got a ballast box that I purchased and then basically built up taller and put some PVC in there, sunk a bunch of iron down and some concrete to make it super heavy. Put some chainsaw sheaths down in there to hold chainsaws, and it basically allows me to carry the tools that I need out back to the back part of the property. So I've got everything on hand that I need when I'm doing my clearing project. I've got a if you notice, this Grapple on the front of the tractor as well, and a Dan user tree puller, all of which are instrumental in me doing this job. How I came about buying a utility tractor with all these attachments, kind of a fun story. More or less, it was a decision that I made, and I haven't regretted it yet. And I'll tell you why. Initial thoughts my wife and I had was hire an excavating company to come in, blow out the trees that we wanted gone, build our home. Simple, one and done, and it's over, and we get right to it. I thought about that, and the finale of it all, and you have someone come in and do that, it's done, right? I mean, there's no going back, there's no getting trees back. The landscape's forever changed, at least in my lifetime, pretty much. So I wanted to find a means of doing it more surgically, if you will, right? Because I was noticing the more time I spent out there and walked around, the less assured I was of exactly where I wanted my home, exactly what I wanted to keep and what I wanted to omit. And so I ended up in a bit of a conundrum, and I thought, well, what can I do? I work really long hours. In the winter months, it's, dark when I go to work in the morning, dark when I get home at night. Time's limited, weekends with family commitments, holidays, things of that nature. I don't have a ton of time. What I do have is the ability to put a few hours in here and there. And so I thought, well, I'll get some equipment out on there that I can use at my discretion, at my leisure. So I contemplated buying either an excavator or a backhoe loader combo, an older unit, or maybe just a bobcat or skid steer. I got into looking into those options, and honestly, at the end of the day, I could buy that equipment, use it. When I was done with it, I'd end up ultimately selling it. I wouldn't have much use for it. One thing I did have a use for was a tractor in the long run. I mean, anyone that has anywhere from, I don't care how much property is, with these subcompact tractors these days, if you have a half an acre of land, you like doing things outdoors, landscaping and sculpting of your land, they come in awful handy. A ton of attachments available for them. Beautiful situation for many, and just super cool to have around. But in my instance, they're just too small. They call me a Squatch for a reason. I'm kind of gangly build. I'm a bigger guy, and I just don't fit on that kind of equipment. At least a cab version, cab variety. I don't. ROPS or open station version. I can get on them, and it's okay. I look kind of goofy on them, but they're usable, right? But for my needs, they just weren't heavy enough, weren't quite big enough, not enough power, not enough weight. So I started looking at compact tractors, something in the 30 to 50 horsepower range, somewhere in there. A little bigger frame size, more weight to them. And I wanted a cab, I wanted heat, I wanted air conditioning, I wanted a stereo, and all of that because I'm getting older. And Michigan winters can be kind of cold and brutal at times, and the summer can be kind of hot and humid. You're in the woods, there's a lot of mosquitoes at times. I just didn't feel like dealing with that stuff. I don't have to. I mean, why would I if I don't have to? And I don't have to. There's a better option out there, and it's called a cab. So I started looking at the compact variety of tractors, and I looked at all of them, you guys. I mean, I'm not kidding you at all. And I actually have a video I did that gives you kind of the story behind my choice of tractors and and the turmoil I went through getting it. But needless to say, the compact tractors, albeit they probably would have done the job, they're borderline with some of what I want to do in lifting capacity and weight, but probably I could have made it work. The cabs just weren't quite big enough for me. And I always kind of thought, you know, I've got now 3 grandkids, and the thought of being able to bring them along with me someday is kind of cool. I still got a 13-year-old son in the house as well. I'd like to get him out there with me. So I started looking at utility tractors, and they fit many criteria. Number one, they're heavy enough to do the job. Enough weight behind them, I could build them out enough. Even with a larger implement on the loader, I still had plenty of lifting capacity. Things of that nature. And the primary goal, once again, was comfort. I'm going to be spending a lot of nights out there in all weather conditions. If I'm going to do this myself, I've got to do it whenever I find time. And I mean whenever. It don't matter if I don't get out of work till 8 o'clock at night. I might have to go out there and work for 2 hours. So I knew that. I'm going to do it in comfort. And I'm going to get the right piece of equipment for the type of job I want to do with it. And that enters this nice little blue tractor you see ripping around behind us here, and all the implements that go along with it. I'm comfortable in it. I got an instructor seat in there for my son, and down the road for my 2 grandsons, and my 1 granddaughter is old enough she can ride with me now. But now I got 2 little grandbaby boys I was blessed with this year. Eventually I'll have them out there. I'll put a shovel in all their hands if you give me a chance. But all joking aside, I ended up with this New Holland utility tractor. No regrets. And I tell you, I mentioned early on in the video about blowing the trees out and hiring someone to come in and do it. I've changed the location where the house is going to be at least twice now. And honestly, if I really want to, you know, pick at it, 3 times to this point. The house is moving back another 500 to 600 feet further back than what I initially had wanted. The scope of the project has completely changed numerous times. Had I hired it done, it would have been over. I mean, it would have been a done deal. I mean, there's not a whole lot I could have done about it. Sure, I could have had them come back and clear a new spot, but it would have been over. It's an arduous task, but one I enjoy. I love being outside and working with chainsaws and tractors. And just enjoying the outdoors. It's kind of the point in having the property to begin with, getting out there and enjoying it. And I'm a guy. I mean, you know, and a lot of gals are the same way. They like just getting out there and playing in the dirt, and I've got no issue doing that whatsoever. So to me, it's a win-win. When I get done with the land clearing project and we get our home built, I'll have a piece of equipment that I can maintain a 1,000-foot plus long driveway in the winter and summer months. It's going to be gravel, so it's going to need grading. And also I'll be able to do any type of landscaping around the property that I want, and I always have it at my disposal. You know, so to me, it's a no-brainer, unconventional, and you know, there's going to be a lot of negativity surrounding it. That's dumb. You should have done this. This is a much more efficient piece of equipment. Hey, I know all that. I know all about forestry mulchers, know all about bulldozers and excavators and land leveling. I know all that. So I mean, to me, it wasn't an issue of, oh, this is the best way of doing it. With regards to speed, that wasn't the case at all. For me, it gave me an opportunity to do it at my pace, on my time, and end up with what I wanted in the long run. And again, it's been a decision that I'm grateful that I made. In hindsight, you know, back when I was doing that whole decision-making process, I doubted myself. I have none of those doubts anymore. So if anybody ever tells you that's a dumb way to do it, say, okay, well, maybe for you. For me, it wasn't, and I'm forever grateful I chose this path. So outdoors with a Squatch, you're going to see a lot of a lot of the implements I have being used. I got some more coming that I'm going to need, so that'll be fun. But what you see going on in the backgrounds, what I've been up to, I've got a bunch of videos. Listen, when I started doing this, I started cataloging this land clearing project purely for myself and my family, just to have it, you know, because again, that landscape's going to change. It'll never look the way it was when I started ever again. And just to be able to look back and realize how much I have done, what it took, and appreciate the work I put in, and enjoy it all over again, you know. So I started cataloging it, and the more I thought about it, I'm a subscriber to a lot of different channels on YouTube covering similar topics, and I love it. I enjoy it, and I thought, you know, I've got all this video, and I'm recording it anyway. Why not put it up on YouTube? And maybe there's some other people out there that might enjoy watching me make my dreams come true. So that's what I'm doing here. If I can help in any way, shape, or form, give you an honest opinion or review on a piece of equipment that you see being operated here, or anything along the process. If you have some suggestions for me, comments, I by no means am a know-it-all. I'm very receptive and an open-minded individual, and I actually appreciate suggestions. You know, again, when you have a community or hope to build a community like I want, you do it for many reasons. It's so that you do have that community that can step up and say, hey man, maybe you ought to think about trying something this way or doing it this way, or hey, I tried doing it the way you're planning on doing it, it didn't work, and this is why. I mean, help each other out. You'll share your projects with me, I mean, so I can see what you got going on, you know. I think you can have a lot of fun with this kind of a community. You know, it's one thing about this YouTube thing. I'm an older guy. I watch a lot of the videos, but the thought of sitting down and editing and doing all that, guys, I used to build computers back in the early 90s. That was a long time ago. And I enjoyed it. It was kind of a fun thing for me. And I should say early to late 90s. And I did it for a while as kind of a side job, just for fun. And I was very computer literate. I'm not illiterate now by any means, but I didn't keep up with it. And certainly not with video editing. So I do all these videos, and I record it, and I get a camera, and I'm doing all this fun stuff. And I don't have the equipment and the hardware at home to even edit them. I mean, my old computer just laughed at it. It's like, no, you know, not in the resolution you shoot video in these days. And so I did some upgrades with my equipment to be able to bring these videos and post them up on YouTube, and I'm learning all over again. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So I'm gonna post videos as often as I possibly can. Can't promise one every day. I've got all this footage that I've got up to this point, and some of it, you know, I will introduce it as Welcome to Outdoors with the Squatch, because, like I say, I've been working on it for a little while, but I just haven't posted anything up. Either computer hardware set me back, or just doubting myself, right? But I'm done doubting. I'm just going for it. Hope you enjoy it. I hope you'll come around for episode number 2 of Outdoors with the Squatch. I'm going to roll out what video content I have already. And I've done quite a bit already. I'd like you to see it. And then we'll get caught up to current times, hopefully. And we can kind of go from there. So we got a little better time frame of activities. You know, but hopefully you get your way through the first bit of it here. First few videos, and it goes into a little more explanation of certain things. It just shows off what it was and what it is now a bit, and some pretty exciting things have happened for me, so hopefully you enjoy that content. If you would be so kind as to hit like or dislike, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever it may be. If you'd like to follow along and see what we got going on, by all means, please subscribe. If you have an opportunity and you know somebody that might get a kick out of what's going on, either to poke fun at me, laugh, or learn, or just enjoy it, by all means, share it amongst your friends and co-workers or whatever, and hopefully we can build a solid community here and communicate with me. I love it. Stay happy out there, and we'll see you hopefully in episode number 2 of Outdoors with the Squatch.